Femi Olajiga, we're talking about digital marketing budgets today.
Yep.
A very popular topic, but a lot of people feel a little unsure about what they are.
Yeah.
So what is a digital marketing budget and why is it important for any business to consider?
Digital marketing budget is money set aside primarily to acquire customers, retain customers, engage customers, and convert customers. So using online channels to acquire customers, the budget, the money you set aside primarily and purposefully for that is a digital marketing budget. And there's always a revenue target attached to that money. It's not just, oh, this is money we're going to spend on digital. You need to have a clear goal in terms of this money that we're spending will get us this number of sales and this number of customers. So that is a digital marketing budget.
How much do businesses spend on average on digital marketing?
Ideally, you need to spend between 5 to 15% of your revenue. But some organizations, if you're guaranteed to get more sales for every amount you spend, then you can keep increasing it and keep making more money. But you need to also consider the stage where your business is. If you're a new business that is just starting or a startup, you need to invest in certain things that would make your marketing budget significantly higher. You need to invest in websites, you need to invest in content. So those parts are those investments. I'll talk more about investments down the line from a marketing perspective, obviously.
So how does one structure a digital marketing budget? What are the key items that need to be included?
Yes, so you need to look at the operational cost. The operational cost is who do you need to bring in-house or hire maybe a consultant or an agency to help you plan and execute your marketing, your digital marketing. So the operational cost is your employee fee, the consultant fee, agency fee. And the next thing is the cost of marketing technology. So every, say, SEO, page search, you need different tools to execute digital marketing. So you need to allocate those costs for those tools. And then you need to allocate costs for customer acquisition, costs for engagement, and costs for conversion. What I see in the industry is a lot of people just focus when they hear about digital marketing, digital marketing budget, all they think about is money to spend on paid acquisition, Google Ads, without paying attention to how much of that budget should I allocate to engagement, how much of that should I allocate to online reputation management, how much should I allocate to social media, and how much should I allocate to customer service, online customer service. So this is what some businesses ignore and just allocate like 70-80% on paid acquisition. So if you want to allocate a very effective digital marketing budget, you need to think more than just acquisition. You need to start thinking about word of mouth. How do you allocate budget to digital marketing that would increase word of mouth, that would increase branding, that would then help people that have been your customers talk about your product to other people? What can you do to help them? So that's where the digital marketing budget comes into play. Yeah.
So it's really knowing your business and knowing your customer journey and how to support that with various digital.
To allocate digital marketing budget, you need to understand where your customers congregate in and what the customer purchase journey is and the customer lifetime value as well. So you need to understand how much it costs you to acquire one customer and how much it costs you to retain that customer. And then what do you have to do to encourage that customer to become brand advocate? So digital marketing budget just goes beyond just money alone. You also need to approach it from a systemic perspective. Yeah.
So for somebody who's doing this for the first time, what would be the steps involved in creating a digital marketing budget? Where does one start and where does one finish?
That's a good question. Initially, I mentioned about business objective, revenue targets, understanding the cost of customer acquisition. So the first thing you need to do is to identify how many customers do you need to acquire in the next 12 months? And how many customers do you need to retain in the next 3 years? So when you're doing digital marketing budget, don't just think about 12 months alone. It should be a long-term approach. So once you identify your business KPI, your marketing goals and objective, then you then need to look at an audit of the performance, because if you're not a new business, if you've done marketing last year, you need to then audit the performance of previous budget. How did they perform? What channels perform better? What is the perfect channel mix? The good thing about digital marketing is you have access to analytics. You need to look at your analytics to understand what the performances are. But you also need to understand the limitation of analytics. There's this perception that analytics will give you all the answers. No, it wouldn't give you all the answers. You need to understand that some things analytics cannot measure. Brand, word of mouth. So you need to understand your customers and understand how they interact and behave online to be able to allocate the right budget. And you also need to have that mindset that a digital marketing budget is an iterative process. You allocate money, you review every 30 days. What is the performance of Instagram? What's the performance of LinkedIn? What's the performance of Google Ads? You just don't set the budget for 12 months and forget it. So you need to continuously evolve. And then you also need to allocate budget to upskilling your staff. You need to understand that if you just allocate a lot of budget on acquisition and everything and ignore the skills within your team, then those team, because they don't have those skills and capabilities, they would then waste the money. So you also need to set aside part of your marketing budget for upscaling and training people within your business. And in some instances, you also need, if you're a small business, you need to find an avenue to bring in experts to make sure that you spend money on those experts to help you optimize your marketing budgets, to help you avoid wasting money. It's very, very easy to have a marketing budget of £4 million and waste everything without having the right result. But if you bring in subject matter experts to help you build your digital marketing budget, then you're guaranteed to get the best results from a revenue perspective.
Presumably there's also the cost of or consideration for tools.
Yes, there's also the need for the cost of tools, marketing technology tools. You also need to consider the cost of content production. I mentioned that the mistake I see with a lot of organizations is they allocate a huge chunk of their digital marketing budget on acquisition. You need to ask yourself the question, how much have you allocated on engagement and conversion? And how much have you allocated on online reputation management? People don't buy online if they don't trust you. And the only way you need to build that trust is to make sure that you've optimized all avenues that will build trust, like review websites and things like that. So you need to kind of structure your digital marketing budget in a way where you move and iterate with it. You just don't set it for 12 months and then forget it. So you need to have an agile digital marketing budget.
So it needs to be tracked.
It needs to be tracked. You need to use web analytics tool, and you also need to understand the limitation of web analytics tool. Web analytics tool will give you quantitative insights, but they won't give you qualitative insight. You need to use different tools to understand the performance of your marketing budget and continuously move money around. Don't say because you've set this budget for paid search for 12 months, you're not going to touch it even when you know you're wasting money on paid search. You need to move money, and you need to understand that you need to invest in content. A lot of people ignore that part and just, again, allocate a lot of money on paid advertising.
Femi Olajiga, thank you very much.
So if you need help with digital marketing budgets and if you need a consultant to help you, hit me up.